unserious Cardinals game had me mad. And then, of course, the coach Jonathan Gannon slapping people in his chest. That was horrible and upsetting. However, we could have avoided all of this if the refs would have just made the right call. This is a touchdown. They reviewed it and tried to say it wasn't a touchdown. He had possession of the ball. I'm more angry at that than this. He apologized. You took $100K. Although I do think they should get $100K to DeMarcado like that. I'm fine paying $1,000. Give it to a man who was hurt.
The class action lawsuit. Peter, what has you mad today?
I know a lot of different games happen, and Drake May and Trevor Lawrence played well. How about the two-point conversion? Can we give some love to the call to go for two on the road against division champions and say we're not leaving this up to the kickers? Sean Payton's decision to go for two might have changed the entire tide in the AFC West. We're not even talking about it this week.
I agree. No, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. That was a gutsy, I almost said a different word, a gutsy decision by Sean Payton. But I caught myself. Jeffrey, what's got you mad today?
Kickoffs, kicking out of bounds. You got one job, bro. One job. 55 yards, man, wide. Like, can we keep it in bounds? This is devastating. What are we? We've had 8 of these this season. We've made it so simple. It's like a little pooch kick now, and we're kicking it out of bounds. Like, stop getting cute. Kick the ball in there. Let it happen. I mean, the one for the Chiefs of the night, it crushed me.
It turns the whole game.
And now we're showing the Colts crushing me even more. Get it off the television.
Finally, Lewis, what has you mad?
Look, I think I'm with you now, Green. I think now I'm getting disgusted with these guys. Okay, you cannot have a football team have 3/5 of their starting offensive line out, and you allow 6.2 yards per carry, 180 total yards. You have 10 penalties again. After having 10 penalties the week before, you still haven't won. You're inconsistent on offense, but it's time to start making some examples of people there.
Listen,
it's time to start cutting folks, man.
I'll tell you what has me mad. Who chose the word mediocrity? We aspire to mediocrity with the Jets. Mediocrity would be an enormous step in the right direction. The topic bar should be the Jets suck. That's what it should say. Well, let's face it. They're the only 0-5 team in the league, and they just played the worst game of the entire NFL season. But I digress. Our next stop is Cincinnati, where the Bengals have a new quarterback. They've acquired Joe Flacco from the Browns because I guess Brian Sipe wasn't available. So Jake Browning has really struggled since replacing Joe Burrow, throwing 8 interceptions over parts of 4 games. Let's face it, the Bengals have been non-competitive since Joe Burrow got hurt. So this is the very rare in-division, in-state quarterback trade. So there's a lot to unpack here. Kimberly will have the Cleveland side of it in a second because she's got their game. How about the Cincinnati side of it? Should we expect to see Flacco play for them?
I think he can start this weekend. He can start this weekend against Green Bay. I think that is a strong possibility. They're bringing in Joe Flacco because he is exactly that quarterback that can do it on no time's preparation. He knows all these defenses. He actually played Green Bay earlier this season.
It's true.
And he would be the first quarterback in NFL history since 1962, Jack Kemp, Buffalo Bills, to beat the same team twice in 2 different uniforms. He would be doing it as a Bengals, as a Browns quarterback, then a Bengals quarterback. But Zach Taylor and the front office duked up, and they were not calling all different teams. They were not calling for Russell Wilson. They were not calling for Jameis Winston. They wanted Joe Flacco specifically because he can do this on short times rest, and he can get thrown into the mix, and he can carry the load. Whatever you think of Joe Flacco, 16, 41 years old, he can play if you need him.
You guys had a lot, pardon me, of immediate reaction to this as far as the fit, as far as the scheme, as far as the offensive line. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, he needs to ask for a pay raise right now. Before the first game, you're going to put me in there behind that offensive line. Help me, pay me for whatever bodily damage I'm about to suffer and incur, which will be significant. I mean, he's 41. He doesn't move. They couldn't protect Burrow, who can move. They didn't protect Browning. They have to have a change in philosophy. And I'm not, all joking aside, you better make sure you protect him. Joe Flacco didn't light it up in Cleveland, and they're better up front than Cincinnati is. And their tackles were struggling, and Flacco was in panic mode. I don't care who you are as a quarterback. You start getting hit, your eyes drop down. He has better receivers in Cincinnati. I understand that in Higgins and Chase. But his body better be protected.
Like, you won a Super Bowl, bruh. You're like, you done it all. You made the money. Don't go to another city in Ohio to get your brains beat. And like, maybe you can pull off the upset again, but they don't have that Browns defense to help them knock off Cleveland.
I have to say, while I don't know if this is going to accomplish it or not, I admire at least they're trying. The Bengals are trying to keep their season afloat, but on the hope that there maybe there's some chance Burrow makes it back. So at least they're
See
trying.
Louis Riddick's comment.
I understand that, but at least they tried something. This is what they think will work. Rather than just running the same thing back out there. Of course. Now, Kmart, the entire world will look at this, and you have Browns Steelers this weekend. A lot of the people will look at this and say, where does this leave? You got Dylan Gabriel, you got Shedeur now. What's the situation in Cleveland?
So here's the thing. Everybody's thinking, well, Shedeur just moves up automatically, right? Technically, he is number 2 on the unofficial depth chart. They still have Bailey Zappi on the practice squad. So Kevin Stefanski will be asked today, is Shedeur the number 2? Or is he going to be the 3rd again? And Kevin has to explain what his reasoning is, because there is a scenario where Bailey Zappi could be elevated from the practice squad to be the backup. He has started in this league. He started for them. So there. We need Kevin Stefanski to confirm for everyone what his plan is. I do think that in an ideal world, Kevin Stefanski would want to take things slow with Shedeur, give him a week of preparation. For any of these rookie quarterbacks. Keep in mind, Kevin's plan was not for Joe Flacco not to be in the building. The Browns were not looking to let go of Joe Flacco. They thought he would still be here, but when the opportunity arose, when the Bengals called late Monday, that sort of got them thinking, okay, we can get something for him, and we know Andrew Berry loves draft compensation.
That just sounds so ridiculous, and I get your point. And I was at that game. We did that game between Baltimore and Cleveland when Bailey Zappi started. Okay, I was there. But look, they're in developmental mode now. They're in future mode. They're in future projection mode. You don't need to see what Bailey Zappi can do. Right. Okay, you need to go ahead and elevate Shedeur to number 2, get him number 2 reps, however many that is, and you're one play away. And then you figure out what you have at quarterback, then you see what happens in 26. Let's stop messing. Look, we talked about this last time I was on the show. Why are we even messing around with Joe Flacco being the number 2 quarterback? He needed to be shipped out of there right away and move forward.
I would argue that Bailey Zappi throwing in there on an injury in the middle of the game might be better for Shedeur than the other way. I think at some point this season we're going to get to a point where Shedeur is going to be the starter going into a game. And I would rather, if I'm Shedeur, I get it. I want to get on the field by any means necessary. But if I'm Shedeur, give me my week of preparation, design a game plan around what I do well, and put me out there on the first snap. Don't throw me out there after getting 2 snaps of practice all week and then determine how good I am off of that.
Here's the thing. Think about what the Browns offseason has been. They had all these quarterbacks. Remember Kenny Pickett? He was in their quarterback room. Joe Flacco got first-team reps. Kenny Pickett got first-team reps. And the 2 rookies that we're all looking at, how are they going to develop them? They got the least amount of reps. Shedeur got the least of anyone. So when you think about preparing him for this moment, a lot of people didn't even think Shedeur would still be on this roster. And now he's in line to, we think, start at some point this season if Dylan Gabriel falls.
They've traded a lot of quarterbacks.
They've traded 3 already.
In just the last few weeks. All right, I have to leave it. We're so much coming up today as we continue. I'd love more on this Brown situation because it bears explaining. But so does the Star Summit in Philadelphia. The big stars get together to figure out exactly what's wrong with the offense. They have exactly 1 more day to fix it. Plus, the Colts on top, the Ravens and Chiefs on the outside looking in. The AFC playoff race is drunk. Will it stay that way? We'll try and figure it out next. You're watching Get Up.